Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranams to all the devotees. Thank you all very much for joining in for our study of the Krishna book. So today we're going to start with the first chapter of Krishna book, the Advent of Lord Krishna. Let's start with the prayers. Om Jnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudhapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Samsajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaur Dushe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tarale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadvaktaya Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrapatamaham Mande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mishwaram Hari Om Tatsat Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Dandat Pranams, dear devotees. So today we'll try out 11 o'clock because some devotees wrote to me that it is lunchtime and hence they may not be able to join. So we'll just try out some timings to see how it works. All right. So today we're going to start the first chapter of the Krishna book, having completed preface and introduction. So this chapter is entitled The Advent of Lord Krishna. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So let me share my screen. So if devotees can raise your hands, you can start reading. So let's see. Okay, Shri Priya Mataji, go ahead. The Advent of Lord Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams. Chapter 1, The Advent of Lord Krishna. Once the world was overburdened by the unnecessary defense force of different kings who were actually demons but were posing themselves as the royal order. At that time, the whole world became perturbed, and the predominating deity of this earth, known as Bhumi, went to see Lord Brahma to tell of her calamities due to the demonic kings. Bhumi assumed the shape of a cow and presented herself before Lord Brahma with tears in her eyes. She was bereaved and was weeping just to invoke the Lord's compassion. She related the calamitous position of the earth, and after hearing this, Lord Brahma became much aggrieved, and he at once started for the ocean of milk where Lord Vishnu resides. The Lord Brahma was accompanied by all the demigods, headed by Lord Shiva, and Bhumi also followed. Arriving on the shore of the milk ocean, Lord Brahma began to pacify Lord Vishnu, who had formerly saved the earthly planet by assuming the transcendental form of a boar. In the Vedic mantras, there is a particular type of prayer called Purusha Suktam. Generally, the demigods offered their obeisances unto Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by chanting the Purusha Suktam. It is understood herein that the predominating deity of every planet can be seen or can see the Supreme Lord of this universe, Brahma, whenever there is some disturbances on his planet. And Brahma can approach the Supreme Lord Vishnu not by seeing him directly, but by standing on the shore of the ocean of milk. There is a planet within this universe called Shweta and on that planet there is an ocean of milk. It is understood from various Vedic literatures that just as there is the ocean of salt water on this planet, there are various kinds of oceans on the other planets. Somewhere there is an ocean of milk, somewhere there is an ocean of oil, and somewhere there are the oceans of liquor and of many other types of liquids. The Purusha Suktam is the standard prayer which the demigods recite to appease the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kshirodakshai Vishnu, because he is lying on the ocean of milk. He is called the Kshirodakshai Vishnu. He is the form of Supreme Personality of Godhead through whom all the incarnations within this universe appear. May I continue, Mataji?
Yeah. Go ahead, Mataji.
After all the demigods offered the Purusha Sukta prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they apparently heard no response. Then Lord Brahma personally sat in meditation, and there was a message transmission from Lord Vishnu to Brahma. Brahma then broadcast the message to the demigods. That is a system of receiving Vedic knowledge. The Vedic knowledge is received first by Brahma from the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the medium of the heart. As stated in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye, the transcendental knowledge of the Vedas was transmitted to Brahma through the heart. Here also, in the same way, only Brahma could understand the message transmitted by Lord Vishnu, and he broadcast it to the demigods for their immediate action. The message was this: the Supreme Personality of Godhead would appear on the earth very soon, along with his supreme powerful potencies, and as long as he remained on the on the earth planet, to execute his mission of annihilating the demons and establishing the devotees, the demigod should also remain there to assist him. They should all immediately take birth in the family of Yadu dynasty, wherein the Lord would also appear in due course of time. The Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, Krishna, would personally appear as a son of Vasudeva. Before his appearance, all the demigods, along with their wives, would appear in different pious families in the world just to assist the Lord in executing his mission. The exact word used here is Tat Priyartam, which means the demigod should appear on the earth in order to please the Lord. In other words, any living entity who lives only to satisfy the Lord is a demigod. The demigod were further informed that Ananta, the plenary portion of Lord Krishna, who is maintaining the universal planets by extending his millions of hoots, would also appear on earth before Lord Krishna's appearance. They were also informed that the external potency of Vishnu Maya, with whom all the conditioned souls are enamored, would also appear by the order of the Supreme Lord, just to execute his purpose. After instructing and pacifying all the demigods, as well as Bhumi.
Sorry. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Sorry, I was on mute. So thank you very much. So here, the purpose of the appearance of the Lord is described, isn't it? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So the Lord appears to re-establish the principles of religion. The Lord appears to protect the pious. The Lord appears to destroy the miscreants. And the primary purpose that is described in Bhagavad Gita for the appearance of the Lord is to protect the devotees. That is why Brahma actually goes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and renders prayers, Purusha Shukta prayers as they are called, to please Lord Shri Vishnu. Right? So when, and this is, it is said that Shweta Dweep, right? This is the ocean of milk. That is there. Shweta means white, right? The ocean that's white in color because it's an ocean of milk. To there, the demigods and Brahma are not able to see the Lord. Right? What do? They offer praise to the Lord, and when the Lord is pleased, the Lord fulfills the desire of the devotees. Right? What was the desire here? The Brahma actually wanted Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna to appear so that the people can stay in the earthly planet, which is not so bhayankar, which is not so ferocious, which is not so which is not so fearful for the people to even stay, because the situation has become so bad, that Advaita Acharya also prayed to Lord Krishna like that only, that you please appear to propagate the holy names of the Lord, because Kali Yuga is reaching those stages where it's become impossible for even the pious minded people to properly stay in this planet. That way Advaita Acharya worshipped Lord Krishna. Shaligram Shila, actually, he worshipped with Ganges water and Tulasi, and he asked the Lord to personally come to inaugurate the Sankirtana movement. So like that, here we see that Brahma, Advaita Acharya, we see is a combination of Shiva and Vishnu. And here we see Brahma, who is a perfected being, who is the creator of this, creator of, or the sub-creator of this, he is the creator of the material world. Actually, he goes to Lord Vishnu, and they all, along with the demigods, right? All of them go together and recite the Purusha Shukta prayers. Brahma, we know how Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavi Muyanti Yat Surya. The Lord who actually puts into illusion even the demigods, including Brahma, actually gave this formula of tapasya, right? To render prayer, so that the illusion in the heart is removed, and one gets to know what one has to do to actually come to a position where one has a clear understanding of what to do and what not to do, right? So whenever we are in confusion, the best way is to offer obeisances to the Lord, to offer prayers to the Lord. Oh Lord, I don't know what to do. I'm very confused. My mind is totally confused. What to do, what not to do. So these are examples of the ways we can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead to explain our predicament. Sometimes we don't know what to do. We are very confused. So in those situations, the best thing we can do is offer obeisances, offer prayers to the Lord, and in this way, the confusion that is there in the heart, or the environment in the heart, which is so dampened, or which is so in depression, right? Simply by praying to the Lord with a sincere heart, if you are very surrendered, then just like the Lord's voice was heard by Brahma, like that we can also hear the voice of the super soul, Kshetra Vishnu, who is situated in our heart, and we can get guidance on those subject matters, right? Of course, if you're not so elevated that we can hear the voice of the Lord, we need to approach senior devotees, right? Just like the demigods, right? They could not directly approach the Supreme Lord, and they could not directly hear the voice of the Lord. They went to Lord, they went to Brahma, and Brahma could hear the voice of the Lord, and he actually told the demigods, what is it? What is the will of the Lord? What is the Lord going to do? Right? So in this way, Lord Vishnu told Brahma that I'm going to appear, and along with me, all of my associates are going to appear on this earthly planet to fulfill your desire, right? Or to aggravate the misery of Bhumi Devi, like that. All right, let's move forward. Okay, so who'll read now? Is my screen visible? Yeah. All right, Rohini Mataji. Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
After instructing and pacifying all the demigods as well as Bhumi with sweet words, Lord Brahma, the father of all Prajapatis or progenitors of the universal population, departed for his own abode, the highest material planet called Brahmaloka. The lord of the Yadu dynasty, King Surasena, was ruling over the country known as Mathura, wherein lies the city of Mathura, as well as a district known as Surasena, which was named after him. On account of the rule of King Surasena, Mathura became the capital city of all kings of the Yadus. Mathura was also made the capital of the kings of the Yadu dynasty because the Yadus were a very pious family and knew that Mathura is a place where Lord Sri Krishna lives eternally, just as he also lives in Dwarka. Once upon a time, Vasudev, the son of Surasena, just after marrying Devaki, was going home on his chariot with his newly wedded wife. The father of Devaki, known as Devaka, had contributed a sufficient dowry because he was very affectionate toward his daughter. He had contributed hundreds of chariots completely decorated with gold equipment. At that time, Kamsa, the son of Ugrasena, in order to please his sister Devaki, had voluntarily taken the reins of the horses of Vasudev's chariot and was driving. According to the custom of Vedic civilization, when a girl is married, the brother takes the sister and brother-in-law to their home. Because the newly married girl may feel too much separation from her father's family, the brother goes with her until she reaches her father-in-law's house. The full dowry contributed by Devaka was as follows: 400 elephants fully decorated with golden garlands, 15,000 decorated horses, and 1,800 chariots. He also arranged for 200 beautiful girls to follow his daughter. The Kshatriya system of marriage, still current in India, dictates that when a Kshatriya is married, a few dozen of the bride's young girlfriends, in addition to the bride, go to the house of the king. The followers of the queen are called maid servants, but actually they act as friends of the queen. This practice is prevalent from time immemorial, traceable at least to the time before the advent of Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago. So Vasudev brought home another 200 beautiful girls along with his wife Devaki. While the bride and bridegroom were passing along on the chariot, there were different kinds of musical instruments playing to indicate the auspicious moments. There were conch shells, bugles, drums, and kettle drums combined together. They were vibrating a nice concert. The procession was passing very pleasingly, and Kamsa was driving the chariot when suddenly there was a miraculous sound vibrated from the sky, which especially announced to Kamsa, Kamsa, you are such a fool. You are driving the chariot of your sister and your brother-in-law, but you do not know that the eighth child of the sister will kill you. Kamsa was the son of Ugrasena of the Bhoja dynasty. It is said that Kamsa was the most demoniac of all Bhoja dynasty kingdoms. Immediately after hearing the prophecy from the sky, he caught hold of Devaki's hair and was just about to kill her with his sword. Vasudeva was astonished at Kamsa's behavior, and in order to pacify the cruel, shameless brother-in-law, he began to speak as follows with great reason and evidence. He said, my dear brother-in-law Kamsa, you are the most famous king of the Bhoja dynasty, and people know that you are the greatest warrior and valiant king. How is it that you are so infuriated that you are prepared to kill a woman who is your own sister at this auspicious time of a marriage? Why should you be so much afraid of death? Death is already born along with your birth. From the very day you took birth, you began to die. Suppose you are 25 years old. That means you have already died 25 years. Every moment, every second, you are dying. Why then should you be so much afraid of death? Final death is inevitable. You may die either today or in 100 years. You cannot avoid death. Why should you be so much afraid? Actually, that means annihilation of the present body. As soon as the present body stops functioning and mixes with the 5 elements of material nature, the living entity within the body accepts another body according to his present actions and reactions. It is just like when a man walks on the street, he puts forward his foot, and when he is confident that his foot is situated on sound ground, he lifts the other foot. In this way, one after another, the body changes and the soul transmigrates. See how the plant worms change from one twig to another so carefully. Similarly, the living entity changes his body as soon as the higher authorities decide on his next body. As long as the living entity is conditioned within this material world, he must take material bodies one after another. His next particular body is offered by the laws of nature according to the actions and reactions of this life. This body is exactly like one of the bodies which we always see in dreams. During our dream of sleep, we create so many bodies according to mental creation. We have seen gold and we have also seen a mountain. So in a dream, we can see a golden mountain by combining the two ideas. Sometimes in dreams, we see that we have a body which is flying in the sky. And at that time, we completely forget our present body. Similarly, these bodies are changing. When you have one body, you forget the past body. During a dream, we may make contact with so many new kinds of bodies. But when we are awake, we forget them all. And actually, these material bodies are the creations of our mental activities. But at the present moment, we do not recollect our past bodies. The
Hare
nature
Krishna.
of
Thank you,
mind.
Mataji.
Hare
Hare Bol.
Krishna.
So dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhiras tatra namuyati. Right? Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita how one should not lament over the loss of a body. Right? Kamsa, it is said that he was so much affectionate towards Devaki that he personally rode the chariot of Devaki to her father-in-law's home, Vasudeva's home. But then what happened just because he heard this Akashvani that the eighth son of this Devaki, whom you're lovingly taking in the chariot, is going to kill you. Then what happens? Immediately his demonic quality sprung. Right? So generally that is a quality of demons. Right? Generally they are so affectionate as long as there is some kind of sense gratification that is available. Then they are very happy to do service also, to serve their near and dear ones. But when there is a threat, when there is some kind of indication that this person is not going to help me fulfill my sense gratification, or this person is going to cause some harm to me, and all the affection and all the love goes out of the window, right? Because we are so generally people of this world, right? We are so interested in sense gratification that we don't like people who actually give any kind of obstacles in our sense gratification. And what is the greatest thing, right? We are so attached to our body. And when Kamsa knew that this person is going to, the son of Devaki is going to actually kill him, he immediately wanted to kill Devaki. Right? And then Vasudeva is giving, the knowledge that Krishna actually gave to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. So he's saying, the moment we are born, we are all born with an expiry date. Just like when we purchase sugar from the provision store, right? It says manufacturing date so and so, expiry date, not later than 3 months or whatever is the expiry date. Similarly, we also have born with an expiry date, but unfortunately, we don't know what is the expiry date. It is not written, or maybe it is written, we cannot see, right? When we are born only, we know that, we don't know, but it is prescribed that this person will live in this body until such a time. Right? Prabhupada gives the explanation here that if somebody is 25 years old, that means he's died 25 years. Right? If he's scheduled for say 70 years, right? Then every birthday that we celebrate, we are going closer towards death. That means 1 year is already gone. That means we will live for 69 more years. Then this is 68 more years, 67 more years, like that. Right? Prabhupada gives the example here how when one walks on the street, he puts his foot on the ground, he lifts the other foot, he walks, right? And like that, what happens? The soul similarly takes one after another bodies, right? Just like we walk, taking our one foot to another, one, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that, the soul transmigrates into one body, next body, third body, fourth body, fifth body, like that. And how is this transmigration takes place? It takes place according to the desires that we have cultivated in our heart. If we have unfulfilled desires, right, then we have to take another body to try to fulfill those desires, right, until we come to a point where we understand that all these desires are useless, right? Why? Because if it is fulfilled also, I'm not going to be happy, because after a particular point in time, I have another desire that crops up. Like, for example, if I have a desire to get the latest mobile, okay, and then I get that mobile, I'm happy and I'm satisfied. Does it mean I'm satisfied eternally? I'm not going to have any other desire? No. The next week, another model of the mobile is released, and then I want that mobile. I want the latest updated version of the mobile. And it is just mobile that I'm increasing my desire for? No. I want a car. I want a big house. If I'm having a 2 BHK, I want a 3 BHK. If I want a 3 BHK, I want a 4 BHK. In that way, our desires are endless. Even if some of our desires are satisfied, there are much more number of desires that are not satisfied. And when such desires accumulate in the heart, we are constantly thinking of how we can fulfill those desires. Right? And Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajati anta kalevaram tam tam eva iti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever is the accumulation of desires that we've been constantly thinking of throughout our life, that is what we will think of at the time of death. And when we think of that at the time of death, say I'm thinking of, how will I get a bigger house? Then what happens? Where the house where I am born, in that house only, or in my dream house I may be born. And depending upon how much of pious qualities I've cultivated, or how much of rajasic qualities I've cultivated, or how much of tamoguna qualities I've cultivated, I may be born at that house, right? Say as a dog, or as a snake, or as a human being, depending on if I've committed, done a lot of pious activities. Maybe I may be born as a human being, but not necessarily as the master of the house. I may become the servant of that house. In some way I'll be related. But if I've made my consciousness so much tamoguna, then I may become just a snake in that home. Right? There is a very beautiful pastime where a person is so much attached to his family, his wealth, etc. But Narada Muni is so merciful. Narada Muni comes and tells this person, I will take you back home, back to Godhead. And this person is saying, oh, why? I'm a young man, I will work, I may get a bigger house, I may get a lot more money. And then Narada Muni says, okay, try your best. And this man, he works hard, he earns a lot of money, he deposits all of his money in a treasure house and, buries it in the garden. And then he becomes old, and then what happens? His son, right? He gets a son. Gets the son to, the son grows up. The son gets admission into a college. Son gets a very nice job. That time Narad Muni comes and says, okay, your son is now well settled. So now I will take you back home, back to God. And he's pretty old. He's 55. And then he says, no, my son is not so mature enough. I have to get my son married, and I have to provide for my I have to see my grandchildren. And in this way, okay, Narad Muni says, okay, fine, you enjoy yourself. Let me come back to you later. And then when he comes back after 5-6 years, the son is married, the son is also having a grandchild, and then now he says, okay, you've seen your grandson, now let me take you back home, back to Godhead, there you'll be eternally happy. But he's saying, no, I have not yet told to my son about the treasure house and all that. My grandson is just born, so let me just spend some more time with my grandson and all. And then what happens? Again Narad Muni comes. And Narad Muni comes, and Narad Muni again he tells, after 5-6 years he comes. The grandchild is 5-6 years old, and then now he says, now you have spent enough time with your grandson, you've enjoyed, now you do want to come back. And then this man says, no, I have to be with them, I have to still guide them, they're not still independent and all that. And then what happens? This man dies, right? In the normal course of time, 60, 65. That is the normal age in the age of Kali. Right? This man dies, right? He does not even tell about the treasure to his son. So that is what is lingering in his mind in the last moment. Oh, I forgot to tell about the treasure that I've hidden in the garden to my son, and that is the last thought, and he dies. And then what happens? He again gets his birth as a snake, because he is so addicted. He's so addicted to the treasure that he has actually kept, and that is what was his last thought. He becomes a snake in that particular house in the garden, right? He's roaming around in the garden, and then Narad Muni again comes, and then he says, see what you have done to your life, since because you thought of the treasure, you were born as a snake, right? At least now I will take you back home, back to Godhead, right? Now you are not even having a human body, let me take you. And then he's saying, no, some or the other, I have to communicate to my son that the treasure is lying here. And what if some other person comes to know of it and he steals the treasure? I will ensure that nobody other than my son gets this treasure that I have buried here, right? And then Narad Muni thinks, this man will never understand, right? And then he goes and tells the son that there is a snake that is going around in the garden. It might kill any of your family members. And the very son to whom he wanted to ensure that this treasure goes, that man comes out and he sees the snake, he beats the snake to death, right? And still, even in the snake's body, he's thinking, oh, how do I tell him? I'm not able to speak. I want to tell him that I'm guarding the treasure for you only. Why are you killing me? Right? So in this consciousness, what would be his next body? Right? Let's not speculate, but this is the pastime that is narrated in one of the classes, right? So what is the body that I'm going to get next? Right? If I'm going to just simply think of how much money I'm going to accumulate, am I going to get a bigger house? Am I going to pass on all of this treasure? I know very well that when I die, I'm not going to take even a pin, right? But we're so much attached. I want to give my treasure, to my second generation. I want to enjoy with the second generation. Like this, our desires only keep multiplying. Although we may acquire a lot of wealth, we may give a lot of wealth to our sons and daughters, but even then, that there never comes a point when I don't have any desire, right? Some other desire comes. I want to enjoy with my grandsons. I want to enjoy with my granddaughters. I want them to achieve what I did not achieve in my life, right? We want to try to get our daughters and sons and our granddaughters and grandsons, to get all that we wanted to achieve in our life. Like that, there is no end to the desire. And when we have so much of desires mounting in our heart, even at the time of death, then we will get our next body according to our guna and karma, according to the activities that we do. Right? What are the activities that we do? We perform activities to fulfill our desires. So according to the desires and activities that we perform, we will get our next body. And this is a continuous process, right? When the body becomes old, the body is not capable of doing anything, the soul takes up another body. And the soul takes up another body according to the desire or according to the thought that we are having at the time of death. And what is the thought that we will have at the time of death? The thought that we'll have at the time of death is the accumulation. Prabhupada actually tells in one lecture, there is a flashback that happens at the time the soul leaves the body. Right? What is the flashback? All the desires and all of our activities, right, come forth in our eyes. And those are the things that we think of. Oh, I did this, I did that, right? And according to that, our next body, we will get our next body. And we will continue this journey, right? Are we going to take any of those accomplishments that we've accomplished in this birth? No, nothing, right? Again, we are born in some family, in some place, according to our past desires and karmas, right? According to what we are destined to achieve in this life, we will get our next body, right? So instead of and we will continue, this cycle will continue until we realize that I want to simply serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Until we get this desire, we will just go from one body to another. And when we get this desire that I want to serve the Lord, and we engage in the service of the Lord, the entire life we spend in serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then in our mind at the time of death we think of how I can continue to serve the Lord, right? When this is the desire that remains in our heart, then we will be transported back to the spiritual world where we will get an opportunity to serve the Lord. Until then, देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहांतर प्राप्ति धीरस् तत्र न मुह्यति, right? Until we get this knowledge that I have to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I will just go on from one body to another. Even if I am extremely learned, right, I will continue to get the body of a Brahmana. I may be born in a nice Brahmana family. I may, serve, perform yajnas, earn money, be satisfied with my life. But then, I'm attached to my family members. I'm attached to this happiness that I'm acquiring by studying of the Vedic scriptures, right? Unless we get this attitude of serving the Supreme Lord without any material desire, without any desire for sense gratification, we will get a body. And a material body means happiness and distress. Sitoshna Sukha Dukkada. Automatically, this will happen. Right? And how can we put an end to this cycle of birth and death, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi? Simply by becoming a devotee of the Lord. Simply having this one desire. How can I serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Until then, this process will go on and on and on. All right, let's move forward. Rajneesh Prabhu, please go ahead. The nature of the mind is flickering from there.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Yes, go ahead.
The nature of the mind is flickering. Sometimes it accepts something and immediately it rejects the same. Accepting and rejecting is the process of the mind in contact with the five objects of sense gratification: form, taste, smell, sound, and touch. In its speculative way, the mind comes in touch with the objects of sense gratification, and when the living entity desires a particular type of body, he gets it. Therefore, the body is an offering. By the laws of material nature, the living entity accepts a body and comes out again into the material world to enjoy or suffer according to the construction of the body. Unless we have a particular type of body, we cannot enjoy or suffer according to our mental proclivities inherited from the previous life. The particular type of body is actually offered to us according to our mental condition at the time of death. The luminous planets like the sun, moon, or stars reflect themselves in different types of reservoirs like water, oil, or ghee. The reflection moves according to the movement of the reservoir. The reflection of the moon is on the water, and the moving water makes the moon also appear. But actually, the moon is not moving. Similarly, by mental connection, the living entity attains different kinds of bodies. Also actually he has no body. But on account of illusion, being enchanted by the influence of Maya, the living entity thinks that he belongs to a particular type of body. That is the way of conditioned life. Suppose a living entity is now in a human form of body. He thinks that he belongs to the human or a particular country or particular place. He identifies himself in this way and unnecessarily prepares for another body. which is not required by him. Such desires and concoctions uh, mental concoctions are the cause of different types of bodies. The covering influence of material nature is so strong that the living entity is satisfied in whatever body he gets, and he identifies with that body with great pleasure. Therefore, I beg to suggest not to be overwhelmed by the dictation of your body. Vasudeva thus requested comes
Vasudeva.
Vasudeva thus
Not
requested comes.
Vasudeva. Prabhu, Vasudeva is the father. And because Vasudeva's son is Vasudeva. Vasudeva is Krishna. This is Vasudeva.
Vasudev. Vasudev thus requested comes not to be envious of his newly married sister. One should not be envious of anyone because envy is the cause of fear both in this world and in the next. When one is before Yamraj, the Lord of punishment of death, Vasudev appealed to Kans on behalf of Devaki, stating that he was his younger sister. He also appealed at an auspicious moment at the time of marriage. A younger sister or brother is supposed to be protected as one's child. The position is overall so delicate. Vasudev reasoned that if you kill her, it will go against your high reputation. In this way, Vasudev tried to pacify Kans by good instruction as well as by philosophical discrimination, but Kans was not to be pacified because his association was demonic. Because of his demonic association, he was a demon. Although born in a very high royal family, a demon never cares for any good instruction. He is just like a determined thief. One can give him moral instruction, but it will not be effective. Similarly, those who are demonic or sadistic by nature can hardly assimilate any good instruction, however authorized it may be. That is the difference between demigods and demons. Those who can accept good instruction and try to live their lives in that way are called demigods, and those who are unable to take such good instruction are called demons. Failing in this, in his attempt to pacify Kans, Vasudev wondered how he would protect his wife Devaki when there when there is imminent danger. An intelligent person should try to avoid the dangerous position as far as possible, but if in spite of endeavoring all intelligence one fails to avoid the dangerous position, there is no fault on his part. One should try his best to execute. But if the attempt fails, he is not at fault. Vasudev thought of his wife as follows: for the present, let me save the life of Devaki. Then later on, if there are children, I shall see how to save them. He further thought, if in the future I get a child who can kill Kans, just as Kans is thinking, then both Devaki and the child will be saved because the law of providence is inconceivable. But now, some way or the other, let me save the life of Devaki. There is no
Hare Krishna.
certainty.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. So here, two, three very, very important points are given. One is the nature of the nature of the demons is mentioned here, right? The nature of the demons is that when something goes wrong, when something goes against or our plan to enjoy sense gratification or whatever may be, then what does the demon do? The demon tries to ensure that the person, whoever is causing this situation that's going against my sense gratification, let me kill that person. right? Whereas a devotee, what does he see? A devotee sees all situations as the return of his or her own karmas, the previous sinful actions, whatever I've done. This is coming to me in return for my sinful actions. So this person who's causing this particular trouble to me is not to be blamed. Let me not get angry against that particular person, because everything is happening by the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And because I'm a devotee of the Lord is giving me such a small kind of inconvenience or something that I'm not able to tolerate at this particular point for my own purification. So let me build my strength to accept the situation as the Lord's mercy. And if a person is grateful in such a situation, then he becomes a recipient of the Lord's mercy. So that is the difference between a demon and a devotee. A devotee takes every situation, whatever, if that situation is against his own plan, against his or her own plan to achieve something, but the situation has become such that I will not be able to attain it. Even then, a devotee accepts that situation as the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tattenu kampam susamikshmano bhunjana evatmakritam vipakam hridvat vapurbir vidadhan namaste. Jiveta ye mukti padesa dayabak, right? Because this particular material situation is just preventing me from attaining some material benefit that I thought is going to help me. But the way I'm responding to the situation is going to help me evolve spiritually, is going to help me get a better destination in the future. So a devotee always takes every situation as a situation by which I can undergo purification, and this situation is going to make me or giving me an opportunity to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because when I am responding in a favorable way, in a way that is favorable to attract the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then this situation is not actually a situation of reversal. It is going to help me grow in my spiritual life. That is one. Secondly, the very important point that Prabhupada is making here is, in all situations, right? It's not that I resign myself to the situation and I don't work to make my situation better. No, a devotee also accepts the situation as the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he definitely tries to improvise the situation. Right? If I'm in a situation where I don't know what to do, then I take guidance from my senior devotees. And what do? I try to make the situation better. I try my best. But if my attempt to make the situation better fails, then I understand that this is the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? I will not move to adharmic ways to change my situation. I will do my best within the parameters of dharma, and I try to improve my situation. But if the situation is not improving, then I will accept that situation as the mercy of the Lord, and then I will move forward. Like the example that Prabhupada is giving here. Vasudev tried his best, right, to explain to Kamsa that anybody who is born has to die. Right? So why do you want to do something adharmic, like killing your own sister? Right? Just because it is established by providence that Devaki's the son is going to kill you, why do you want to kill Devaki? What is the mistake of Devaki? Right? Devaki is not destined to be killed by your hands. Right? That is not the Akashvani. Right? Why do you want to kill Devaki? And one should use one's intelligence to ensure that dharma is established. It is not right for Kamsa to kill Devaki. So what Vasudeva is saying, I will give Devaki's children. Devaki's children, his own children, right? So he's saying, I will give my children to you, right? If you are scared for the sons of Devaki, why do you have to kill Devaki and perform an adharmic act, right? I will give you the sons of Devaki, right? Now Vasudeva is trying to see how I can prevent him from performing an sinful act right now, right? In future, there may be ways by which I can even protect my sons. So for now, let me try to help Kamsa, right? So Vasudeva is not just being self-centered. Vasudeva is also helping Kamsa not performing a sinful act. Of course, he wants to protect Devaki also, because it is not dharmic to even kill a woman. Right? Someone who is even the sister of Kamsa, who has not done anything bad for Kamsa. Right? Of course, it is said in Bhagavad Gita, one can kill one's aggressor, someone who's trying to cause damage to one's own life. Then one can kill that person also. That is also dharmic, right? But in this case, it is the duty of Vasudeva to protect Devaki. Vasudeva is trying all means how to protect Devaki, and in that what do you call, in that endeavor, he's also trying to help Kamsa, right? Trying to give good counsel to Kamsa to not performing an adharmic act. And here Prabhupada is also giving one more point, that good counsel will not be heard to by people who have a demonic nature, because such a person is always so fearful and an anxiety that he thinks that everybody is out to corner him, right? So in that way, even if such a person gets good counsel, he will not be able to take up that counsel, because his mind is filled with so much of lust, anger, greed, pride, right? He is not able to distinguish. The discrimination power is lost when you are so much attached to sense gratification. All right, let's move forward. Okay, who will read now? Okay, Karpagavalli Mataji, go ahead. There is no certainty from there.
Thank you, Madhu. There is no certainty how a living entity contacts a certain type of a body, just as there is no certainty how a blazing fire comes in contact with a certain type of wood in the forest. And there is a forest fire. It is experienced that the blazing fire sometimes leaps over one tree and catches another by the influence of the wind. Similarly, a living entity may be very careful in the matter of executing his duty, but it is still very difficult for him to know what type of body he is going to get in the next life. Maharaja Bharata was very faithfully executing his duties of self-realization, but by chance he developed temporary affection for a deer, and in his next life he had to accept the body of a deer. Vasudeva, after deliberating on how to save his wife, began to speak to Kamsa with great respect, although Kamsa was in most sinful mood. Sometimes it happens that a most virtuous person like Vasudeva who has to flatter a person like Kamsa, a most gracious and a most vicious person. That is the way of all diplomatic transactions. Although Vasudeva was deeply aggrieved, he smiled outwardly. He addressed the shameless Kamsa in that way because he was so atrocious. Vasudeva said to Kamsa, "My dear brother-in-law, please consider that you have no danger from your sister. You are awaiting some danger because you have heard prophetic voice in the sky. But the danger is to come from the sons of your sister who are not present now and who knows, and they may or may not be sons in the future. Considering all this, you are safe for the present. Not there is cause of fear from your sister. If there are any sons born of us, I promise I shall present all of them to you for necessary action." Kamsa knew the value of Vasudeva's word for honor. He convinced by his arguments. For the time being, he desisted from the heinous killing of his sister. Thus Vasudeva was pleased and praised the decision of Kamsa. In this way, he returned to his home. Each year thereafter, in due course of time, Devaki gave birth to a child. And he gave birth.
Mataji, I'll ask someone else to read. You just have some water, yeah? Okay, Vrishabhanu Kanya Mataji, go ahead.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Each year thereafter, in due course of time, Devaki gave birth to a child. Thus, she gave birth to 8 male children as well as 1 daughter. When the first son was born, Vasudeva kept his word of honor and immediately brought the child before Krishna. It is said that Vasudeva was very much elevated and famous for his word of honor, and he wanted to maintain this fame. Although it was very painful for Vasudeva to hand over the newly born child, Krishna was very glad.
Kamsa.
Sorry. Kansa was very glad to receive him, but he became a little compassionate with the behavior of Vasudeva. This event is very exemplary for a great soul like Vasudeva. There is nothing considered to be painful in the course of discharging one's duty. A learned person like Vasudeva, Vasudeva carries out his duties without hesitation. On the other hand, a demon like Kansa never hesitated in committing any abominable action. It is said, therefore, that a saintly person can tolerate all kinds of miserable condition of life. A learned man can discharge his duties without awaiting favorable circumstances. A heinous person like Kansa can act in any sinful way, and a devotee can sacrifice everything to satisfy the supreme personality of Godhead. Kansa became satisfied by the action of Vasudev. He was surprised to see Vasudev keeping his promise and being compassionate upon him and pleased. He began to speak as follows: "My dear Vasudev, you need not present this child to me. I am not in danger from this child. I have heard that the 8th child born of you and Devki will kill me. Why should I accept this child unnecessarily? You can take him back." When Vasudev was returning home with his firstborn child, although he was pleased by the behavior of Kansa, he could not believe in him because he knew that Kansa was uncontrolled. An atheistic person cannot be firm in his word of honor. One who cannot control the sense cannot be steady in his determination. The great politician Chanakya Pandit said, "Never put your trust in a diplomat or a woman. Those who are addicted to unrestricted sense gratification can never be truthful, nor can they be trusted with any faith." At that time, the great sage Narada came to Kansa. He was informed the Kansas becoming a compassionate to Vasudev and returning his firstborn child. Narada was very eager to accelerate the descent of Lord Krishna as soon as possible. He therefore informed Kansa that in Vrindavan, personalities like Nanda Maharaj and all other cowherd men and their wives, and on the other side, Vasudev, his father, Sarsena, and all his relatives born in the family of Vrishni. Vrishni of the Yadu dynasty, along with all their friends and well-wishers, were actually demigods. Narada warned Kansa to be careful of them, since Krishna and his friends and advisors were all demons. Demons are always afraid of demigods. After being thus informed by Narada about the appearance of the demigods in different families, Krishna at once became very much alarmed. He understood that since the demigods had already appeared, Lord Vishnu must be coming soon. He at once arrested both his brother-in-law Vasudev and Devki and put them behind prison's bar. Within the prison, shackled in.
Sorry, I was on mute. All right. So thank you, Mataji. Very wonderful. So we'll just discuss this very beautiful point. Right, Prabhupada mentions a very wonderful point here, that a demon, right, sometimes, he may be, because, Vasudev came and gave his first child to Kamsa. Kamsa was overwhelmed with affection, and he told Kamsa, okay, I told Vasudeva, okay, take your son and go. Only the 8th son is going to kill me, right? So you take your son and go. And then Vasudeva is not yet trusting Kamsa, because a person of a demoniac character, Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekaha kurunandana, only a devotee can have one-pointed focus and one-pointed desire, right? The demons, how their mind changes, right? It is like, if I want something, then immediately I will change my mind, I will change my word, and I will do whatever it takes to get what I want, whatever I want for sense gratification. Whereas Vasudeva, although he had told Kamsa that I will not, he was still, he was still free, right? He had told Kamsa, I will give you my child. As soon as the child is born, I will come and give you. But, he was a king, right? He had a big army. He could have fought with Kamsa also and killed Kamsa before Kamsa could actually kill Devaki. But he was a man of honor, right? A devotee, when he gives a word, he ensures that his word is maintained, right? The greatest fame for a particular devotee is that he is a devotee of the Lord. And a devotee exhibits good characteristics also. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. Sarver gunais tatra samasatesura. That all the qualities of the demigods automatically manifest in a devotee. That is why Vasudeva, although he was heartbroken, right? Who would be able to give their first child to a demon to get the child killed? But Vasudeva went and gave. But Kamsa, on the other hand, he could not maintain his determination. That, he said, okay, Vasudeva, you take your child and go back. We will wait for the 8th son. Right? And there is a divine providence, the Lord's hand also in this. That Narada Muni, he also wants to ensure, that the time for Lord Krishna's appearance has already come. Right now, by Kamsa actually returning the child Vasudeva is actually delaying the process. So Narada Muni comes and tells Kamsa, right? A little bit of tweaking, what happens, his mind changes. He comes and tells Kamsa, actually, Narada Muni comes and tells Kamsa that, the demigods are already being born in the, in the family of Nanda Maharaj. Right? Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maya. How? Because Krishna is supposed to go there. And it is true, right? Narada Muni is not saying something false. But Kamsa thinks, oh, the demigods have all started appearing. That means Krishna will appear soon. That means my end is going to come soon. Then immediately when some trigger happens, what happens? All the minute good qualities that he had, that noble thought that sprung over him to return the child of Vasudeva, all went down the drain, right? When a trigger happens, then one actually resumes to his normal thinking patterns, right? And a little bit of good quality or thought that came, it goes away immediately. And then not only did he kill the first child, but he actually put Vasudeva and Devaki behind bars. Right? So when a momentary good thought comes, even when he acted upon it, right? Then that's the slightest trigger. What happens? He again goes back to his demoniac qualities. So yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarver gunes tatra samasati sura harava bhaktisya kuto mahan guna mahat. What is that? Harava bhaktisya kuto mahat guna manorathena sati davato bahihi. So Kamsa, although he got this good quality of compassion, right, that he wanted to exercise towards the son of Vasudeva, he gave the child back also, but it was in a mental platform. Because his mind got agitated because of Narada Muni's words, what happened? His earlier good quality of compassion went down the drain. He not only took the child and killed the child, but also he put Vasudeva and Devaki behind bars. So he was atrocity only grew. Right? Although a little bit of good quality came in him, right? It is at a mental platform. That's why Bhagavatam says, Harava bhaktisya kuto mahan guna. Even though wonderful qualities may manifest in a demon, right? At a slightest trigger, all those qualities will vanish because it is at a mental platform. Whenever such qualities, it only increased his own estimation of himself. See, the son of Vasudeva is going to kill me, but yet I am so magnanimous. I have given the child back. Right? But when Narada Muni told that, it is also said that in a cycle of 8, we don't know what is 1, what is 8, right? Maybe the 8th child is being born as the first son. Like that also Narada Muni tells Kamsa. And when Kamsa was confused, he went back to his original nature. What is his original nature? Exploitation, killing those who are against my sense gratification. So he went back to his normal quality. So although some demons may display some good qualities, but it is at a mental platform. And when the mind changes, all of those good qualities go down the drain and the normal qualities of a demon manifest. And this was how Kamsa actually behaved. Right? He took the son, killed, and also put Vasudeva and Devaki behind the bars. So these are the qualities of the demons. Okay. All right. So Deval Mataji, go ahead. We'll complete with Deval Mataji this chapter. Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Radhanatan. At that time, the great sage Narada came to Kamsa. He was informed of all.
Within the prison, shackled and iron chains from there.
Okay, just one minute, Mataji. Within the prison, shackled in iron chains, Vasudeva and Devaki gave birth to a male child year after year. And Kamsa, thinking each of the babies to be the incarnation of Vishnu, killed them one after another. He was particularly afraid of the eighth child, but after the visit of Narada, he came to the conclusion that any child might be Krishna. Therefore, it was better to kill all the babies who took birth from Devaki and Vasudeva. This action of Kamsa is not very difficult to understand. In the history of the world, there are many instances in the history of the world of persons in the royal order who have killed their father, brother, or whole family and friends for the satisfaction of their ambitions. There is nothing astonishing about this, for members of the demonic, greedy royal order can kill anyone for their nefarious ambitions. Kamsa was made aware of his previous birth by the grace of Narada. He learned that in his previous birth he had been a demon of the name Kalanemi, and that he had been killed by Vishnu. Having now taken his birth in the Bhoja family, he decided to become the deadly enemy of the Yadu dynasty. Krishna was going to take birth in that family, and Kamsa was very much afraid that he would be killed by Krishna, just as he had been killed in his last birth. He first of all imprisoned his father Ugrasena because he was a chief king among the Yadu, Bhoja, and Andaka dynasties, and he also occupied the kingdom of Shurasena, Vasudeva's father. He declared himself the king of all such places. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the first chapter of Krishna, the Advent of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is the nature of the demons, right? He imprisoned his father because his father gave him good counsel that one should not put one's own relatives, those people who have not caused him any trouble, right? Why are you putting them into such kind of agony and trouble? And Kamsa would not hear anything, right? His mind is already disturbed, and whatever is coming in his way of sense gratification, or whatever is coming in his way of attaining his desired purpose, he is just going on putting everybody behind bars. Right? He put his own father, and then he put Vasudeva, he put Devaki, everybody put himself behind bars. He made himself, the king of all the, Ugrasena. He put him behind bars, means he took over the kingdom. And even Surasena, Vasudeva's father also, he put Vasudeva behind the bars. He also took over the kingdom of Surasena. So like that, he declared himself the king. Right? He was willing to do anything and everything. Just a few hours back, before the Akashvani was there, he was willing to act as a servant of Devaki, right? He was willing to drive the chariot for Devaki, but something happened which was against his plan, right? He was trying to show the world how magnanimous he is, how humble he is, and all that, right? Just to show to the world, right? But when something triggers where his own life is at stake, then the demons go back to their own original mentality. To kill everybody, put everybody behind the bars, just to ensure that I am happy, I am living, and I can continue to live. So this is the demonic mentality. And as long as we have this demonic mentality, we will not even listen to good counsel. Right? Just like Dhritarashtra was so much attached to his own sons, he was not willing to listen to the counsel of Lord Krishna himself, Vidura, like that. So finally, Vidura had to talk such words, to drive him out of the home, right? So much as we are attached to our material possessions, to our relatives, we will not be able to perform our duty if some situation, if you are placed in some situation where there is some inconvenience that is to be caused to our near and dear ones, like that, right? That's why Krishna also, when Arjuna told, I don't want to kill my own relatives, then Krishna said, perform your duty, I've already killed them. Right? So in all situations, whether of happiness or of distress, the instruction here is we have to continue to perform our duty. And what is the dharma according to this position, in this particular time, place, and circumstance? What is the duty that I have to perform? What is the swadharma that I need to perform? I should be willing to perform my swadharma irrespective of whatever the situation may be, whether it is a favorable situation or it is an unfavorable situation. So with this, we will end our session today. ग्रंथराज कृष्णा बुक की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्री गुरुदेव की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णवा वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. So a couple of devotees had actually mentioned that lunchtime is a little difficult to join. So that's the reason we try to experiment at 11 o'clock today. So at the end of the session, we will probably ask all of you, those who are willing to switch on the cameras can raise your hand. And in this way, we will decide our next class time. All right. So let's quickly do Harinam Sankirtan. So in about 5 minutes, and then we will ask the devotees what is the best time, 11, 11:30, 12:30, right? So we'll decide on a time and then we will continue it from tomorrow onwards, right? Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadrashotharine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gauda Bhakta Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gaur Nitai Jai Jai Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadrama Jaya Sudarshan Jai Bala Gopal Jai Radha Krishna Jai Radha Ras Bihari Jai Radha Madhav Jai Shri Radha Shama Sundar Radhe Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Gurudev Jai Jai Gurudev Niranor Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Srila Prabhupada Sri Gurudev ki jai Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol Hare Krishna. So let's have a show of hands. Okay, I can see Rohini Mataji, Shubhangi Keshavi Mataji, Sindhu Mataji, Rishamanu Kanya Mataji, Kalindi Parameshwari Mataji, Rajneesh Prabhu, Shri Priya Mataji, Anusha Mataji, Harjit Mataji, Karpagavali Mataji. Okay, let's see a show of hands of those devotees who've joined in today's session. So what is a good time, right? Should we have our sessions at 11 o'clock? Okay, Kalindi Parameshwari Mataji, Rohini Mataji, Karpagavali Mataji. Okay, 3. Okay, okay, 4 for 11 o'clock. All right. So now you can all lower your hands. Okay, 11:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. 11:30 a.m. Sindhu Mataji. No double votes, Mataji. 11 or 11:30. Only one vote will be counted. Okay. So 11 was also okay for Sindhu Mataji. Shri Priya Mataji is only person 11:30. Shubhangi Mataji, Shri Priya Mataji. Thank you. Okay. So 2 votes, 3 votes. All right. Okay, you can. I think that's better. You raise your virtual hands. Okay, now Kishori Mataji, Swam Mataji, and Deval Mataji also can vote now. All right. 1, 2, 3 votes for 11:30. 4 votes. Okay, 4 votes for 11:30. All right. So you can all lower your hands. Okay, let's see the votes for 11 o'clock again. 4 votes for 11:30. 11 o'clock. Virtual hands up. Okay, Anusha Mataji, Rohini Mataji, Kalindi Parameshwari Mataji. Okay, 3 votes for 11 o'clock, 4 votes for 11:30. For me, all time is favorable. Hari, Hari. Thank you. Rajnish Prabhu ki jai. All right. Okay, so, okay, 12 o'clock. Who are all for 12 o'clock? 12 o'clock. Anusha Mataji, Karpagavalli Mataji, Vrishabhanu Kanya Mataji, Deval Mataji, Harjeet Mataji. Okay, 5 votes for 12 o'clock. Oh, 4 votes. 5 votes. Okay. So 5 votes for 12 o'clock, 4 votes for 11:30, and okay, so we will keep 12:30 out. Okay, let's try 12:30 also. 12:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. How many? Okay, 3. Okay, I'm okay with 11:30 also. All right. Okay, so 11:30, 12. So 12 o'clock, we have 5 votes. 11:30, we have how many votes? I forgot. Okay, please put down your hands. Okay, we have 5 votes for 12 o'clock. That much I saw. And if you're okay, see, if you're okay with all times, 11, 11:30, 12, then please don't raise your hands at all. Right? So 11, 11:30, 12, if you can join all the 3 times, then don't raise your hands. Now we will quickly see who all can only join at 11 o'clock. That means you cannot join at 11:30, you cannot join at 12. All right? So let's see a show of hands. 11 o'clock, only Anusha Mataji, 1 vote. Okay. Then let's see, Mataji, put down your hand. Okay, 11:30. Who all can join only at 11:30? Cannot join at 11, 11, 12, 12:30, etc. 11:30. Okay, 1 vote only. Kalindi Parameshwari Mataji. Okay. Okay. 12 o'clock. I can only join at 12 o'clock. I cannot join at 11, 11:30. Anyone? Okay, Vrishabhanu Kanya Mataji, Deval Mataji. Okay, 2 votes. Okay. So, Rohini Mataji, you're not putting up your hand for anything. I don't know. What is your preference? Okay, let's, okay, Deval Mataji and, okay, 2 votes for only 12 o'clock. Cannot manage 11, 11:30. All right. So, let's do one more show of hands for 11:30 a.m. Because I can see Shubhangi Mataji not putting up her hand for anything. Oh, that means you're okay for all the 3 timings. Is that what it is? No, you have to put up your hand for one time if you're not okay for any of these 3 timings. All the 3 okay. Only then you don't you raise your hands, right? If you're not okay for 11, 11:30 and 12 o'clock, then you need to raise your hands for your particular slot, whatever time you want. All right. So 12 o'clock, who all? Vrishabhanu Kanya Mataji and Deval Mataji. Okay, 2 votes for 12 o'clock. All right. 11:30, please put down your hands. 11:30. Deval Mataji, Vrishabhanu Kanya Mataji, who else? Rohini Mataji, Harjeet Mataji. Okay, 4 for 11:30. All right. So for 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock, Anusha Mataji only. Okay. So let's finalize 11:30 a.m. and then we'll see tomorrow. So we meet half an hour later than today. 11:30, let's see how the, and we'll also announce it today. Maybe because the last minute announcement also, I think, some devotees could not join. All right, so we'll keep it at 11:30 for tomorrow, and then we will also do this voting for tomorrow also, and then we'll finalize. Oh, tomorrow is Saturday. All right, so we meet on Monday at 11:30 a.m. and then we will take it forward according to how it goes. All right, devotees, 11:30 is fine. Let's see a thumbs up. 11:30. Kalindi Parameshwari Mataji, okay. Sindhu Mataji, okay. Rohini Mataji, okay. All right. So I'm seeing many thumbs up. Deval Mataji is not okay. 11:30. Okay. I can see some okay, not okay. I don't know. Let's see. 11:30, we will have it on Monday and then we'll take it forward. If Deval Mataji does not join, then she will lose her right to vote on Monday. All right. Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Meet you all. Of course, we'll meet at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning.